This is why the crypto markets are nervous and struggling. All right, let's talk about this. Okay, so right now we can see that the market's almost down a point, and we've lost a ton of money in the last 15 days. We lost like 500 billion, I think. Yeah, 500 billion. It's around the number. I think it actually could be a little bit more. But yeah, the fear and greed scales, 15, extreme fear. There's extreme certainty in the market right now. And that is because of Trump's new nomination for the Federal Reserve chairman, Kevin Warsh, and all the uncertainty around him, because we don't know who he is, what he's going to do. And I actually have some information on some stuff that we can look at that we know about him, and kind of some stuff that he said to try to get a little peek into what he could be doing to regarding the interest rates, and if he's going to lower them or higher them. And we have a very interesting scenario playing out, because Trump has been out there about lowering the interest rates. And then this guy has also been seen to be a guy who likes higher interest rates. So there's something going on behind the scenes. And I think I could have caught a little bit of a glimpse of what this guy is going to do, what he believes in, and hopefully how he can help the crypto markets, the stock markets, gold and silver, everything. But first, we're going to take a peek at kind of just the biggest coins. We're going to take a peek at Bitcoin, XRP, maybe take a peek at Ethereum. So yeah, let's get into this. So 24 hours. Let's go back to 24 hours. We're only down half a point actually in the 24 hours. We're up right now just a little bit, but the big thing is this week right here, 14%, and this month, 18%. XRP has been down a ton, and we all know that. It dropped to around 158. We go over here. We check out XRP, down 4% in the last 24 hours. It was a month. We're down 25%, 20% in a week. So we're taking a lot of this hit in this last week or so, the majority of the points we're taking. And that is because of the uncertainty and fear around this new chairman and all that surrounds it. I mean, all the markets dropped. This isn't a crypto related issue, as I have been stressing. And this video is honestly, it's going to touch on a little bit of if we can get anything out of Kevin Warsh, if we can see anything that we think Kevin Warsh is capable of. And I have a little of a peek into that. A week, we're down 11%. So we see we're taking the biggest hits in this last week around this federal chairman and the uncertainty in the market, in all the markets. 13% in a month, 24 hours, down a point. Okay, so now we're going to touch on Kevin Warsh. Okay, so we'll start up here. All the way up here. So this is what economic experts think about Trump's choice of Kevin Warsh for Fed chair. Okay, so we're mostly gonna dive into who Warsh is and what he could be capable of doing. And we're gonna start right here. But Warsh is not as a lawyer, not in economics. This could change things. He's actually the only economist that does not have a PhD in economics and in all of the Federal Reserve chair in 30 years to not have a doctorate in economics. So him being a lawyer could change his approach to interest rates, to the idea of inflation, everything. Him being a lawyer and not an economist is actually a very, very different approach than if he was a full-blown economics. And we could see this play into his ideals and to what he does. And so Warsh may have a different approach to Klein, who first met him when Warsh was working at the National Economic Council at the White House. Lawyers view the world through a different cultural lens than macroeconomists do, he said. Now, this could play to our favor. This could not play to our favor. That part we do not know. And we know that economists, for the most part, obviously no one wants inflation. They do not want inflation. That's the last thing they want. So we could see him being a lawyer, not in economics. He could not be as scared of inflation, and he could be a little bit more inclined to lower these interest rates because he is a lawyer and he doesn't view the world through a cultural lens as an economist. But we do not know, guys. That's the thing. We don't know for sure. And us not knowing is raising uncertainty. And that's why all the markets and the crypto market in specific is down. So Kevin's going to shake up the culture of the Fed staff, or is he going to show deference to the Fed's PhD economists who are accustomed to running the show, Klein said. It will be an accumulation of him. He won't just come in there and do whatever he wants. The staff will have a say in things. They will ultimately be a team at the end of the day, but his decisions will play a huge factor in what the rates do and what they don't do. And him being on our side of things as lowering interest rates, that could be huge, and that could just switch up the game completely. And we would obviously love that. The crypto market would pump, and so would everything else. So this is honestly the most interesting part that I think that we're going to get into. So, based on his past and latest statements, it's uncertain how he'll approach policy. Uncertain is the key word there. That's why everything is down. Warsh has been hawkish on interest rates, meaning like Powell, the previous chairman, he was reluctant to lower them for fear of increasing inflation. This is what all the economics are scared of, inflation. But now we get into it that he's a lawyer. Maybe he doesn't view it the same way. But recently, he's changed his tone on the subject. In an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal in November, Warsh argued that inflation is a choice. Blamed the Fed for not moving fast enough and said the agency should lower rates, guys. Guys, he switched up his whole personality, but this is amazing news. I saw this and I was blown away because I was like, this is this is giving me a look into why Trump nominated him. Trump has been out there about lowering interest rates, and I'm like, why would he know to nominate him if this guy is known to want to higher interest rates? But maybe he just switched his personality, guys. Maybe he changes his kind of ideals. We don't know, guys. But this is great news. If he is passed through the Senate, which I believe so, he will be. He most likely will be. This is pretty cool, guys. If we see he's actually out here talking about they should lower interest rates, he's changed his tone on the subject. Inflation is a choice. Maybe this is the lawyer. This is the lawyer coming out of him that we all desperately need, guys. I just want to stay on this for a second and really hammer this in. If you're kind of just whizzing by the video and you aren't stopping on this, but this is the most important part, guys. We see him changing his tone on the subject. We see him saying the interest should lower interest rates. Inflation is a choice. All huge things that kind of signal and hint that he is going to be the guy that could possibly lower the interest rates for all of us, guys. So I thought this was pretty crazy because I thought he was more hawkish. This is me kind of diving into this a little bit, but just off the surface, we were all seeing that he was a little bit hawkish. But now that we dive into it, he may have changed his tone on the subject. So this is pretty crazy, guys. On the other hand, Warsh has been relatively consistent in opposing the Fed's policy of quantitative easing or the large-scale buying of assets such as mortgages. Obviously, guys, this isn't for sure that he's going to come here and just say, let's lower interest rates. But it does give us a little bit of a sneak peek and maybe some hope that we can hang on to. That maybe this guy is the guy that's going to lower the interest rates. So it's something to look forward to, guys, something to think about. One possibility client sees is worse cutting interest rates, which could juice the economy, and selling assets, which would likely increase interest rates, meaning the two actions could cross each other out. The overall economic impact is unclear because no one's ever done that. Maybe this guy's going to be something different. Now that I'm reading all this and kind of diving into this, I'm honestly thinking this guy could switch up the whole game. This guy could be different. This guy could come in here and do exactly what we thought he wasn't going to do. So, guys, all this stuff, if the interest rates are lowered, this ultimately will pump. And now, I'm not going to get too hopeful. Obviously, you can never get too hopeful in this market and in this game. But I got a little bit of hope for this guy. I'm pushing for this guy a little bit now that I get a peek into probably why Trump nominated him. What he is thinking. And so, yeah, guys, I thought that was pretty interesting. I wanted to share that with you guys. I honestly thought it was pretty cool. And I thought that if this happens, this will be crazy. So I wanted to share this with you guys. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what I'm doing, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I truly do appreciate your guys' support. It is awesome. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you, guys. See ya.